Hi, everybody. Hans Vodder here at New Life Church, Port Townsend, Washington, again, with another devotional selection from Juanita Ryan's book, An Enduring Embrace, Experiencing the Love at the Heart of Prayer. The subject for this week's devotional reading is Seeking God as Prayer, and it opens with a brief selection from the Song of Songs, chapter 3, verses 1 and 2. All night long on my bed, I looked for the one my heart loves. I looked for him but did not find him. I will get up now and go about the city. Through its streets and squares, I will search for the one my heart loves. When we are suffering, when we need God the most, we may have the greatest sense of being abandoned by God. The suffering we experience may feel like evidence that we have been forgotten, or that we are not loved or valued by God. When we try to pray, there may be no capacity to even hope that God's presence is with us. Our need for God in times of distress and our sense that God has disappeared add suffering on top of suffering. Where is God? Our hearts cry out. The spiritual suffering that comes when God seems absent is compared in the Song of Songs to the desperate search of a woman for the one she loves. The woman in this poem has been waiting for her love. It is night and she is alone. She is so distraught that she gets up out of bed and runs wildly through the streets, searching for the one her heart needs and loves. Our wild seeking is also a form of suffering, but even this can become a gift to us. Our seeking can cause us to feel our need for God more directly, deeply, desperately. Our seeking can help us open our hearts more fully to receive the one our hearts long for. The reality is that the one we seek never leaves us. Scripture tells us that God does not move away from us when we are crushed or brokenhearted. Scripture tells us that God is close, even in times of suffering. Our suffering is known to God. Our suffering is shared by God. God carries our sorrows. God bears our burdens. What we need in times of distress is to lean into this possibility, the promise of who our Maker really is. It may feel like we have searched wildly through the city streets to find the one for whom our heart longs. It may feel like we need to muster up more strength and energy than we have in order to find the arms of love that can comfort us. But we need not search any further than our next breath. We need not exert any more effort than it might take to form the word help. Our greatest longing in life is to know God's loving presence. Our greatest need in times of distress is to sense God with us. God is with us in our joy and in our sorrow. Our prayer of seeking God is our return to our heart's true desire. Our prayer is our remembering this one we love and turning again to find and be found. Ms. Ryan then continues with a prayer that she's composed. God, sometimes you seem to disappear, especially in times of distress. It is as if we can't find you. You are our heart's true home, our deepest longing. We seek you. Let us find you. We need you. Let us know your presence. Keep our hearts and minds open to your loving presence within us. May we seek you throughout the day today. May we seek you and know your presence. She then concludes by adding some suggestions for further prayer and meditation. She suggests that one might recall a time when you felt as if you could not trust that God was with you, and then reflect on how this sense of being bereft of God's presence is part of your experience at the present time. After that, one might put into words whatever desire you have to seek God and to know God's presence with you today. Listen as the Spirit whispers to your spirit, I am here with you. I think this can be a challenging but an important task for us in the spiritual life to seek God even when he seems distant. And it can seem exhausting, but sometimes God is there at our weakest moments of desperation and spiritual exhaustion. So I would simply conclude by asking that you pray for me this week and that I would pray for you. And may we all grow closer to God and seek him out in our distress, whatever kind that might be, in our times of political unrest or, the medical emergencies that our country is facing. So may God bless you and give you the gift of his presence this week. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.